Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Quick look here again at Dogecoin, seeing what's going on. Gonna double check a couple of important things. I got some larger time frame fib levels. We're gonna discuss, not that chart, we're gonna discuss Elliott Wave and a few other potential factors here that we need to look at here. So if you are new to the channel, welcome aboard. Certainly hope you can learn something here today. If you want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is a site. Got a trading academy, community, and signals group. We do offer crypto payments now as well, so check that out, of course, in your own time. But quick congrats to our community members. We took some nice healthy profits from a near protocol short, 25% in 16 hours. And of course, Bitcoin and AVAX as well the day before for some shorts there too. So we are shorting the market for the most part. We got one long open for Cardano, but generally speaking, we're looking for profits to the downside based on Bitcoin being very weak with its money flow and a lot of liquidation down close to that 64K range with that CME gap. How does that factor in here to Dogecoin? It does, but it doesn't. I'll explain more here in a minute. What I mean by that, though, is that liquidation levels has a lot to do with how prices move, right? So in the sense of this coin, Dogecoin, we can see a ton of liquidation at about 16.7. Now, am I just saying right now the price is going to drop to that level? Probably not. However, there is a propensity for that based on the simple fact that Bitcoin, say it pulls back a few thousand, so to speak, just say another 5 to 10%, depending on when that happens or how it happens, we could very well see that level. But right now, nothing to worry about too much. We don't see a ton of liquidation minus, what is it? There's some liquidation levels here at about 20.7, which almost got smashed right there just a moment ago. In fact, those are just some late longs, as a matter of fact. So I don't think it's super cause for concern. If we look at the smaller time frame, though, we do want to recognize this because this is usually where you can kind of see the proof here a little bit more. So in the last 12 hours, we've seen a lot of shorts at 21.8, upwards of 22. So even though you love your Dogecoin, right? People are still shorting it and having success with that. Not saying you should. We're going to look at the charts to find out if it's realistic or not. But the point here is that we're starting to see a lot more shorts entering the market in the last 12 hours. And that's pretty common when a coin gets this high. It breaks out of its bull flag pattern and effectively, that's a ascending channel pattern, and then essentially pulls back. So that one last little leg up there to liquidate any potential shorts, and then the price pulls back, it makes perfect sense to destroy the longs now. So with this larger time frame here, let's discuss this on the daily time frame and work our way down. Again, this is kind of some larger fib levels here from the most recent low. It's not the lowest point because, again, when you put out Fibonacci retracement levels, you want to be careful about going too big. I chose that level just because it matches up with our Elliott Wave on smaller time frames. We'll discuss that here in a minute, but the truth is that we are not really bearish at all in this coin as far as the macro is concerned. We can see all moving averages below the price action. That's very common. We can also see here as well that we've got stochastic RSI swinging up, money flow index very high, and RSI coming back down under 70. So this is generally a common rule of thumb is to sell when the RSI comes back down under 70. In other words, you don't have to close your entire position, but maybe take some profits. I mean, if you're profitable in this coin, you got in at 10 cents or something crazy, why are you not taking profit? It just amazes me that people just hold on forever with a high leverage trade that just so happens to be eaten up in fees. If you looked at the fees on your high leverage trade, it's probably not the best idea. Keep in mind, all the profits that we take in our community here, these are all low leverage trades, low position size to ensure that we can survive to trade another day. And we're not destroying our accounts day in and day out like most traders are with other communities, from what I hear. At this point, though, money flow index is very, very high. Okay, we need to recognize that that's an important factor. That's going to probably give us some sustainability here. Okay, now keep in mind, the 4-hour time frame is going to tell us a different story. That's the money flow index we want to look at. That tells us this transition if we're losing money in the last 12 to 24 hours instead of just a big old, obviously money's flowing into this coin because you can see the price going up, right? Daily time frame has its downfalls, so try not to trade based solely on that. Keep in mind though, MACD converging, there's a lot of bullish behavior here, so there's no other way around it. This coin still looks very strong. Taking a look here at the, this is just say, from the most recent low here, effectively, that's what, March 19th. This is basically, 10 to 15 days worth of trading here. In the last 10 to 15 days of trading, we see the most amount of volume at 15.1. So just keep in mind, heavy amount of support at 15.1 if the price pulls back to that level. And again, if we looked at this, if I recall correctly, there is some liquidation between here and there. So 15.1, yep, pretty much right down here. So all the liquidation is just above that most recent volume profile. So literally, we could see somewhere in the range of 17 cents retested if the price pulls back. So I'm not trying to scare you or concern you at all, but we got a lot of support in the 15 cent range and a ton of liquidation between 15 and 19 cents. to give you perspective. So a lot of liquidation in this range here. Okay, again, just filling you in there, not saying the sky's going to fall. But we are starting to diverge on the MACD here. That's generally a bearish sign. So not saying that's 100% guarantee, but this, I do put a little more weight into the 4-hour time frame on the MACD. It's pretty much letting us know that further downside is possible. Or probable, I guess you could say. We can kind of draw out a trend line here too and note that we are making lower lows and lower highs. We're also, making lower lows and parallel highs. Typically when you see something like this, the price action will break out in either direction. I would say statistically we're more likely to drop because we keep retesting the same lower level. But again, a lot of it factors into how Bitcoin behaves. If Bitcoin can stabilize, we probably may not see that drop. We're in the sweet spot here for RSI and money flow index. So this is actually a very good sign, keep in mind. Money flow index is still maintaining itself. So it's not like dropping, for example. If it were, then that would be a weak sign. That would show us a lot of weakness. It doesn't, or it isn't, so we're implying here that the price action will either sustain itself or quite likely recover. So you got to keep in mind, there's a statistical probability of that. Now, is it a guarantee? Definitely not. Let me go ahead and clean this up a little bit and just kind of, something we want to pay attention to here. Let me go back to this 4-hour time frame, just give you some perspective on worst case scenarios. So if the price does pull back further, just say, excuse me, for example, 0.382, 0.5, 0.618 levels are common. So in this example here, we can actually even draw this out a little bit more so that it's a little more clear and concise for you. We can see 0.382, 0.5, and 0.618 common retracement areas. So it would make sense for the price to pull back to 19 cents because that's a more recent high. That would provide us with a nice little support level there if the price does pull back. So again, we had this ascending channel here before the price broke out, worked itself in, and continued higher. Okay. So again, a lot of good things are happening here with this coin. So there's not really a tremendous amount of bearish behavior, but as a worst case scenario, if the price does end up pulling back, those would be the levels we want to maybe consider. Okay. So if you're gonna consider some longs, those are some good dollar cost average targets: 16.3, 17.5, and just say 19 is a round number. Okay, again, make sure that if you ever use those levels to dollar cost average into, you take the level just above those fibs to ensure that you get filled. You put it below, oftentimes the price bounces off that exact level and it doesn't happen. Careful using round numbers too. That's definitely something that can cause some problems getting not filled the way that you want. Okay, last but not least here, Ichimoku Cloud on the hourly. This is where things are shifting but haven't fully shifted yet. In other words, the conversion line is below the baseline. Sorry, the lagging span is below be within the price or below the price action, implying that a shift in momentum has occurred to bearish sentiment. This is usually the first indication to consider taking profit. So if you are in profit right now, wouldn't hurt to trim your position. Take some profit out, maybe take your original investment out, let the rest ride. What you do alternative to that is to adjust your stop loss higher to ensure the price does pull back any further, you can secure profits and walk away in the green. You do recognize that trading is about being profitable, right? If you take a trade and you get too greedy, it'll oftentimes turn around and turn against you. So do not let that happen. Secure profits wherever possible. And again, obviously, depending on the type of situation that you're in, my trades go red almost instantly every time I take a trade. It's just the way it goes, right? Again, there's swing trades. I'm not focused on the meticulous entry. I'm looking for a larger term play. So I don't have a problem when the trade goes red because that's how I build the trade itself. It's structured around that. If you are a little more meticulous, etc., whatever, you might want to structure that differently. But what I want to get at here is that the lagging span is not free and clear. In other words, it's free and clear to the downside. This implies bearish momentum. This also implies that the conversion line being below the baseline, the price is shifted to the downside. We also can confirm that we're above the cloud, which is technically still a bullish sign and a positive indication. So the truth here is that we're not in bad shape. And we just got some initial signs letting us know the shift in momentum has occurred, and you maybe want to consider taking profit if you haven't already. This doesn't imply you close your position and you just wait till the price goes way down. But what I would recommend is if you're in a long position, you take some profit, you maybe consider if the price does pull back to the 19, 17.5 or that low 16 cent range, which seems probable based on liquidation, that you maybe consider longs at that point instead. Or, I would just recommend not necessarily shorting into that because the way that we see it right now is Dogecoin is very strong. There's a lot of considerations for further upside. And I think shorting this coin is not a great idea, even though it seems kind of like a juicy target too. So we got to wait for confirmation. If we're going to get confirmation on a short, we need to break below this 0.236 fib level there. We need to have a closure at about 20 cents or lower. We need to be rejecting off this cloud here with a bearish backtest. Okay, that's generally what I like to look for. A lot of other things need to be present, but that's initially what I'm considering. All right, so we're far away from a shorts, and I think it's a little too late to long. That's just me personally. So what are your thoughts? Comment below, like, subscribe, follow if you haven't already. Trade Dogecoin on the best exchange possible. $5,500 in benefit rewards. You use my link to register. We use them all the time. They are no KYC or VPN required, and I can tell you, you're going to love them. They're awesome. Thank you so much, Bitunix, for a great opportunity for our members. I hope you learned something again. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.